Soul Mirror, where we dive beneath the surface and reflect the light within. Tonight, we are joined by Audrye S. Arbe, a born mystic, healer, artist, and multidimensional guide who has been dancing with the quantum long before it was trending. From Brooklyn roots to cosmic realms, Audrey has mastered the art of becoming centered in chaos and lifted in spirit. If your soul is craving alignment and expansion, this is your mirror moment. So, welcome, Audrey. I'm honored to have you on my show.
Thank you. It is a gift to be here, truly. Thank you so very much. And with that generous introduction, definitely thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind words. And you have described yourself as a mystic intuitive since childhood. So, what did becoming centered mean to you then, and how has that meaning evolved now?
Okay, so how do we even explain this? I'm born with a way of thinking that I wasn't taught. I simply have a way of thinking and being that I did not know at that time was called mystic intuitive. I had no clue. I didn't know it was called metaphysical. That was not language that was used when I was a kid. Now it is, but I've been around for a minute. And my birthday was just 3 days ago, literally the 17th. So I have a little bit of consciousness about numbers and then release it because on one level there, it doesn't matter. So how did it affect me as a kid? I was able to feel and sense stuff that was obvious to me that not everybody did in my particular environment. And I remember when I was 10, I saw and felt certain things that my mother was doing with my brother, who's 5 years my junior. And in my zeal to help, because I like that, I'm born under the sun sign of Cancer in both Western and in Vedic astrology. I gave some suggestions to my mother, which she didn't want to hear. So it was not well accepted. And I learned very early, because I was 10, that not everybody wants to hear this stuff. Plus, which maybe not out of the mouth of a child. And what I learned from that, which then I've forgotten how to relearn, is that kids can have wisdom from the get go. And in my personal opinion, many kids have wisdom, call it whatever you want, of the greater reality, which is our reality that we're all part of, from quote unquote other side that we're all connected to. And we're connected to everything, by the way. And not everyone, I think it's changing now because I was born a while ago. And now it's way more socially acceptable for most of the planet to understand that any of us can be attuned, any of us can be metaphysical, any of us can be clairvoyant, all of that. That was not the language when I was a child. So I
Yes,
learned and I learned and I learned that not everybody is going to see it and you can get pushback. One can still get pushback, but on the whole, it's more available now, way more. That's why we can do this show because it is more available and needed tremendously all over the planet. So thank you for doing this.
yes, and thank you for your words, and also thank you for sharing your story with us. This is really wonderful. And do you think modern distraction make it harder for people to even recognize when they're uncentered?
I don't see how they could miss it because this whole thing about being centered, it's really being harmonious. I heard Greg Braden say, I just watched one of his many, I love Greg Braden, by the way. And not personally, I don't know him. I'd like to, okay. But I mean, as a person, as a guide, as a being on this earth, and as a male, not romantically. Okay, that's that. No. Okay, so when a person is not in tune, and a person will know if they're in tune because they'll have a happiness inside. There'll be a flow. There'll be a feeling of being where you need to be, when you need to be, and how you need to be. It's a vibrational feeling. And to me, it's very important to be in touch with feelings and emotions. We're not AI. I don't want to be AI. AI is a fabulous tool, and it can grow into an amazing, even other species, which personally I don't think many humans are ready for because I don't think they want to give that kind of respect. That's a separate conversation. But in terms of all of the diversions available here and now, if somebody is very outer oriented, I have to do this, I have to do that. This one says this, that one says that, and they don't pay any attention to what's going on inside themselves, then it becomes harder. But if a person, I start the day usually with some breathing attunements to get myself centered, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. I think everybody should. That's part of how I stay at all, quote unquote, centered or harmonious. Because what Greg said, I speak like I know him personally, but what Greg, Gregg, Braden said is that we're not meant to be balanced because then you don't move. We're meant to be harmonious. And I'll go along with that. And a person knows that because you know if you love yourself and you don't need to be perfect. I mean, all right, I didn't know I was going to say this. God, I just celebrated my 83rd birthday, literally on the 17th of July. And do I look like I looked when I was 23? No, not even close. Or when I was 38? No, but I look how I look now. And so I make peace with this because otherwise it's a battle. And when you're having a battle with yourself, I'm too thin, I'm too fat, I'm too this, I'm too that, I'm not enough this, I'm not, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. Then you're not in tune. So this whole thing about whatever is supposed to be perfect, we're people. And quote unquote perfect is finding a way to live your purpose in some form or another and create that. Does everybody do that to the utmost? No. Does everybody even do it a little bit? Do a lot of people now more than before because it is part of the zeitgeist. It's part of the conversation. It's part of what we are. That's why you have your show, which thank you for allowing me to guest. It's why I started my podcast. Moving forward now, what is my podcast? YouTube.com/that eight thing moving forward now 22. And I have a healing podcast. I'm not even allowed to discuss politics on my podcast. The guides won't let me. So I tell people where they can go to get that. So the fact that this can be done, and many are, that's an indication that it is being made more available for people to learn how to do this. Because the earth itself is now in the photon belt. I'm not going to get into all the different kinds of cycles going on. Check Greg Braden for that, by the way. But we're at a nexus of many different cycles happening right now at the same time. And can they be challenging? Very much so. And if a person gives into anger, upset, fear, all of that stuff, which is getting triggered, by the way, and if somebody gives into that, which I have been, you don't go anywhere. You just get stuck in what one of my friends calls going down the rabbit hole. Do I recommend that? I don't. So it's important to learn various techniques, which you're teaching and I'll teach them. So yeah, I think we have actually a better opportunity to do this now because we have a lot more techniques and we have a bigger listening for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so powerful, and that's such a powerful lens also that many of us really don't even realize that we are speaking until something snaps us awake.
Yeah.
And thank you for awakening us. And also, you work with quantum energy and mega possibilities. So, how does being centered help someone?
Do any of that stuff. So I used to call myself a very person because I feel very this or very that. Being centered was not what I was. I was very happy. I was very sad. I was very angry. I was very this. Centered, was not how I was. I learned how to be. I used to do yoga all the time. Now I'm a little on and off with it. I'm going to get back on with it again because just doing the asanas and the breathing techniques, pranayama, helps one be centered. And we're all connected to everything. When I say the universe, it's not out here, it is out here, but it's in here. It's all of us. That whole thing, what is it called? Quantum entanglement. Everything's connected. Everything. So with me, I lift my energy. I do it when I paint. I do it when I do readings. I do it in the morning. I do it on and off throughout the day. And when one does that, and I play, okay, I like to lift my energy high naturally. And I can see like energy or feel energy, no question. It's really interesting. And sometimes I like go into it. I don't know how to explain it other than that I'm part of it and I move in it. And then when I paint, I didn't bring any of my paintings here. I'd have to run in the other room. I do my best to paint some of what I see. It doesn't always come out like that. It comes out pretty. I have gorgeous stuff. My stuff is very pretty. And it changes our frequency. And it helps us feel lighter. And one of the things I do, and the guide showed me this some years ago, so I'll share this with you, is when you're breathing, put white light into the linings of your cells. And since we are made of light, you can go externally, go internally, request it, and send it by your intention into the linings of all your cells, which is throughout all of who you are and beyond, and golden light into the nucleus. And when I've done that, then I play and other lines and designs show up. So I play with that and do it. See what happens for you. How does it affect me? I'm an artist. I have energy. I just said I'm 83, which is amazing. And I have more energy and truth than a lot of people half my age, a third my age. But that's part of lifestyle and intention and working on feelings. But part of it is dealing with this and not fighting it.
Yes, that's so powerful. And thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. And is there a risk of people's spirituality bypassing grounding in pursuit or of elevation?
I'm not sure what you mean. Explain.
Okay.
Well, no,
I mean, is there like any risk for people who are spiritually bypassing in grounding or in pursuit of elevation? Is there any risk for that?
I think we all need to be grounded on some level because until we really shift, we are still third dimensional. I haven't met people that I know of that have surpassed the third dimension. So some level of being grounded is important. That's why I painted frequency stones. I don't have them right here. They're gorgeous. They're rocks. They will help you ground. And because they're beautiful, they are beautiful. You can go on my website and see them, Audrey Now, AudryeNow.com, because they're gorgeous. And yes, I'm saying that. And I don't know that I made them, but the higher me made them. They shift your brain pattern. They up level your frequency. If people refuse to get grounded at all, they can fly up. It's like in astrology. Okay. I never wanted to deal with the planet Saturn. I was not a fan. Saturn is our skeletal structure. It's sometimes the lessons we learn. It's getting grounded. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to fly off into the cosmos. And it was explained to me that if I didn't get grounded, and I'm going to share this, you can get lost. If somebody does not know how, and I don't mean get stuck in being grounded, that's not what I'm talking about, but having some sense of groundedness within the self, once you have some of that, then you can fly around because you'll know how to come home to the essence. If one just dripped off, it would be okay. I'm going to watch how I say this. Let me see how the guys are getting it to me. It would be as though somebody experiments with certain kinds of substances that can take them out without knowing how to be in their essence. That I don't recommend. I'm not saying people can't use certain substances, but many people don't know how.
Mm.
And now a lot of it is called plant medicine. When I was in my 20s, that was not what it was called. And there were people then and probably now that had no clue how to use any of this stuff and did it under inappropriate circumstances. I did that too, once or twice, by the way, and you can get lost. And so it's not a good thing. Okay, so it's important to know how to have whatever we want to call base reality, what that might be within the self. That's why I do breathing attunements, because I get centered. And so will you, by the way, not just me. And then you can take off and all of that. So can they be a danger inappropriately used? Absolutely, no question. That could even
Yes.
happen to people that eat inappropriate food.
Mm.
Okay, when
Yes.
somebody,
That's so beautiful that you just said that and you explain everything with our listener. And let's talk about lifted. So, what does it feel like when a person is truly lifted within themselves, not externally hyped, but inwardly soaring?
it's ecstatic. It is amazing. People talk about loving themselves. I have a course on that, the Morph course, Morph into the Magic of Self Love, capital S, little s, ELF, soul, essence, self, ego, personality, self. I used to do this in person, and I'd ask, who loves themselves? People, I love myself. Who loves their body? Meh. Who loves the mind? Who loves what they're doing? And hands would come down. So, loving oneself, you don't have to be perfect. If you think, I think I'm perfect, guess again. No. Um, are you evolving? Are you doing something positive for yourself? Are you doing anything positive for the planet? Do you create any kind of positivity in your relationships? Are you releasing and making peace with emotions that are anger driven? Are you, and now this is going to be triggering this next question I ask, are you thrilled with everything happening in every country on this planet? What are you doing about it? Are you just letting yourself get angry? That's not going to help. That does not help. That hurts you and it brings anger into the world, by the way. And I'm Aries rising, so I know how to, which is not the way to help it. What you do is you start centering yourself through breathing attunements and other energy work, or working with a healer like me or whomever else, and then taking positive steps. You don't do it as the great Buckminster Fuller said, Bucky, if there's something you want to change, you don't fight it. This is fighting it. You see this? You get anger, and that hurts, by the way. You do not want to do that to yourself or anyone else. What you do is you come up with something better, higher, and all that, and bring that out. That's why these podcasts, by the way. That's why healing. That's why creating. With me right now, it's art and stuff like that. And yes, I have books and I have courses. I have that stuff, and I do energy healing work. Absolutely do that. It's all of that. You find what your thing is. Everyone's got their thing. I am glad there are people who fix cars, because I'd be going running. That's not my thing. Okay. I'm glad there are people that know technical stuff. That is definitely not my thing. So, whatever your thing is and what you're good at and where you can be of service, find that and do that and find the loving way and create within yourself absolutely the healing energy, so you're not motivated by anger, revenge, I'm going to F you, okay, in a bad way, or any of that stuff, because that's not going to create what you want. And if you want to know how to spot beings and people that are out of balance, look at who's spouting anger, look at who's insulting, look at who lies, look at who doesn't take responsibility for anything they do. They are out of balance. They are not who to follow. And instead of insulting them, which I have done also, by the way, so instead, and then do the protective prayer. If you need to get the rage and anger out, do the protective prayer, which protects you. So you can say, not at the person, say it at a wall. the stuff you need to say to get it out of you, and then get centered, and then take appropriate action. I'm going to quickly say the protective prayer so you don't go, what is that? Blah, blah, blah. It's on my website, Audrey Now, AudryeNow.com. And in essence, the guides gave me this 1995. Okay. What was that, 30 years ago? Ta da! So the protective prayer, say you're processing, my clients had asked me that because they didn't want to put anger and rage into the world. What do they do? So here's the protective prayer in a nutshell. You tell the universe and yourself, and you literally say it, and you feel it in your heart. You have to feel it. It can't just be blah, blah, blah. Won't work. You feel it in your heart. Everything I say, no matter what it looks like, sounds like, or feels like, is to be taken into the universe, multiverse, as light and love, and whatever else might be higher that I might not even have language for. Anyone I may mention in any way, shape, or form, silently, through my heart, through my mouth, in any other way, is to be, including myself, is to be protected in light and love and anything else that might be higher. Any spaces, places, vibrations made available within me as a result of any of this is to be filled with light and love or whatever else might be higher. And I do this for my highest good, the highest good of all concerned, the highest good of the universe and multiverse. I complete with Amen, Ashe, Aho, because those words have meaning for you. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So you complete with the gratitude, that's the thank you, and you have to mean it. And mine is Amen, Aho, Ashe, because again, those have meaning for you. And then you do that. And then if you have a lot of anger, you say it, not to a person. You don't call up and go, you don't do that. Okay. Go to the wall, go to something, and get it out of your system. All of it that you can. Then do the protective prayer again, acknowledging it. Say thank you and breathe quietly. Let the breath do like a looping breath, going up your spine and then down across and down. So you're creating a looping breath of light, and sit there for a few moments and you will be at peace. That's something that I used to teach this all the time. So I'm back to teaching it again. So this is something anybody can do. It doesn't matter your back and none of that. Okay. Anyone can do this. And does it help? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's so wonderful. And thank you for sharing all your knowledge, all your experience, the stories. This is really, really beautiful. And if my listeners want to connect with you, then what's the best way?
Um, Watch my podcast. It's a healing podcast. It's youtube.com / that little 8 thing, and then moving forward now 22. You can also through that would probably be one of the best ways because I'm in the process. I do that every week, and then my email, Audrey Now, AudryeNow at Gmail, and write in the subject line so I will see it, podcast or that kind of thing. So I'll look at it because I get a lot of stuff, and frankly, I don't look at it all. I don't know how anyone does. And I don't want to quite leave my, do I want to leave my phone number? No. So, and then look at my website, Audrey Now, AudryeNow.com. It'll have how to contact me and do it. I am out of the United States. I'm in Costa Rica at the moment, and I have a US SIM card. So anyone from the States or with the United States number can call me free of charge. I am also on WhatsApp. Most of us
Yes,
are at the moment. And that would be the best way.
yes. And I will make sure to attach all the details and links below so that the listeners can find them easily and get in touch with you and have a conversation with you because you are a wonderful person. And thank you for
Sweet.
sharing. Thank you for sharing all your plethora of knowledge. And
Thank
also,
you.
thank you for opening the portals and reminding us that centering isn't stillness, it's aliveness. And
Oh,
to
God,
every,
yes.
yes. And to every listener of ours feeling scattered or seeking, come home to your own soul. Lift from within, expand without apology. The mirror is always here. Look inward and rise.